back today with a process video for a cherry on top. Now, I pretty sure I mentioned to you before that I went ahead and for my June design team, I had gotten these two. And then I went ahead and used some of my June design team credit to buy the three I didn't have. So now I have all the Heidi Swapp pattern papers, all the Heidi Swapp pattern projects. I love these pads. They're so fun. Anyway, for today's video, I want to use this cut file, which is one of the June releases from Cut to You. I'll link that store below if you're interested in the cut file. I have this photo of my son and his cousin, who is his best friend. So I have that I'm going to use. I chose this paper from the 6x8 paper pad, and this paper is going to be my focal paper. It's what I'm going to use, pull the colors from this. This is gorgeous. It doesn't come in the 12x12 at all. It only is it's in the 6x8 paper pad, and then it's in this paper pad, which I think is the planner one. Yeah, the planner one. So if you're looking for papers, and those are the two, these two pads are where I got all the papers from. I used this one, which is the one for planners. It's called the planner pad, I think. And then this is the 6x8 paper pad. This one has all the papers from all the paper pads and all the cut apart sheets in 6x8. So that's a really, really nice pad to get. Last time I looked, a Cherry on Top had all of them in stock. So if you would like this collection, this is my favorite 2020 collection. I think unless something fabulous comes out in the fall. But for right now, so far this year, these paper pads are my jam, which I never would have thought I would have ever said about anything, because I'm not a big paper pad girl, but these are stunning. Oh, they're just gorgeous. Okay, so I'm gonna go off camera. I am going to back my cut file with the patterns. Here are the patterns that I chose from the paper pad. And then I have this little cut apart sheet because I want to use this a little bit to do some journaling about my photo. Now, I do think that I don't have a really, really great idea, but I'm going to keep the paper pads handy because as I do my layout, I may end up needing some more paper. And then, of course, I'm going to need to come back into the paper pads for things like embellishments and stuff. So I'm going to keep those handy and just off to the side. But for now, I'm going to set these two papers aside. And I'm going to go ahead and back my cut file with these patterns. And then I will come back with a backed cut file and we'll keep going on with creating the layout. Okay, so this is what my cut file looks like when I'm all finished. I'm going to play around a little bit. I was kind of trying to decide how I wanted to create this layout. I knew that I really, really wanted to use that entire 6x8 sheet of paper because if I didn't, I would lose some of the rainbow. And then my photo was not horizontal, it was vertical. But in the end, what I'm going to decide to do is cut my photo down to 4x4. That just makes it easier for me to fit the photo in. And there is a lot of headspace in this photo. I love like the way the photo is taken and kind of the artistry of it, but I also know that it's not really going to fit the way I want it to, so we're going to have to go ahead and put it together a little differently. So I'm going to do 4x4, and then my plan is to take that 6x8 piece of paper. I'm going to take about an inch off the bottom. And then what that allows me to do is it allows me to take that little excess piece and line it up and place it at the bottom of my layout, just like that. And then that's going to be the main design of my layout. I'm going to go ahead and kind of keep to that center strip down the middle. I do end up kind of letting some of the elements go off of that center strip, but for the most part, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go through all these papers and I'm going to audition all these different patterns and figure out which one helps my photo to pop against the background. That's what I want. I do like that one, but I'm going to end up going with this yellow one. The photo is very dark, so adding just that bit of yellow around it I think helps to lighten it up quite a bit. Okay, the next thing I want to make sure that I add and save room for is my journaling. So I'm going to kind of get my patterns together. I really just kind of want to use these patterns, the patterns that and the solids that I used to do the back the cut file. I want to use as much of that as I can on the layout, and then I'm going to use this cut apart sheet to do my journaling on. So Mr. Logan stole my T-square ruler and then proceeded to break it.
I was using it to draw it, but I accidentally flung it off the desk.
So I'm going to have to go ahead and use this little my Tim Holtz slide ruler that goes on the media mat to get a nice straight edge there on my stripey pieces. And then I'm going to use a ton of foam adhesive on the back of this cut file. I did a bit of a cleanup in my foam adhesives, and I found a ton of like pop dots and stuff that's like almost finished. So I was super happy to be able to get a really nice dimensional lift on this cut file while simultaneously using up the end of that entire roll of foam tape. I really like how this is coming together and looking. I don't want to do a whole lot more to it. I'm going to put my photo down, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my journaling kind of organized as to how I want to put the journaling together. I'm going to use that kind of watercolory one at the bottom, and I'm going to back it with a couple of different colors to bring in a little more color to the page. I will tell you that this look of the watercolor on the watercolor might not be for everybody. I did matte it with some green and some yellow, but someone else may look at this and think the stripes going the two ways are just crazy, but I really liked it, so this was what I decided I wanted to do. I'm going to go ahead and do my journaling using my Muji pen. I'm using black because there's black in the photos, and I backed that bottom heart down there as black and white, so I knew I needed to bring in a little bit more black to the party here. Speaking of partying, we get to play with stickers now. So every one of these pads has at least 3 sticker sheets, if not 4. Some are cardstock, some are clear. I'm going to flip through all of these different, no I'm not. First I'm going to put stuff away because I'm organized. It's terrible. So I'm just adding the pieces, these patterns that I'm not going to use now, the scrap pieces. I'm just going to flip them into the front of the different project pads, and I'm going to go through all of these stickers, and I'm going to pick the ones I love the most to use with this layout. These stickers are sticky, surprisingly, very sticky, so be very careful. I probably could have used my powder tool if it was bothersome to me, but I did pretty good. I'm going to kind of like audition stickers here and there. I really kind of wanted to do some of the clear ones because I know I'm working on white cardstock. I can just pop those babies down and they will just go right into the white cardstock and you won't even notice. I'm going to create a little bit of a diagonal type of movement. I'm going to go from the top left to the bottom right, just tucking in some of the greenery. I love the rainbows on either side of the hearts, and then I added a little bit. I'm going to add a little sentiment right there to kind of pull the photo and the journaling and the rest of the layout kind of in together. So I want something that I can place right there under the journaling that's kind of bridge that gap. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this little sentiment, and now I want to pull in, I have a little bit of the greenery down at the bottom underneath Cousins kind of sticking out, and I want to add a bit more of that green color to my layout. I want to add just a bit up at the top above my journaling to kind of keep everything cohesive, to keep your eye going from the journaling down to the bottom. And I think that that's the last little sticker that I put down. Maybe not. Maybe I add a little more greenery. I don't really
I don't super duper remember. Oh yes, I'm going to put that heart up there because it just worked really well up there. And I wanted kind of these little clusters of at least 3 different elements. So this is where I'm going to call this one done. I think it turned out adorable. So cute. I'm so happy with how these layouts are coming together using these paper pads. Here are all of the close-ups. Thank you so much for joining me today. Last time I checked, a Cherry on Top has all of these paper pads still in stock, but I do know that they are selling fast, so I would totally grab them while you can. I'll talk to you all again very soon. Bye!